Oi, you know what time it is? You're tuned in listening to Dry That Aussie Metal Guy. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his content when it drops. And remember, stay brutal, you mad dogs. Roof!
G'day, hey, how are you all going? It's Jai, that Aussie Metal Guy here with Crank.com and with Cranium Radio. So today, tonight, wherever you are in the world, is a great pleasure that I finally nailed down Matty B of Harroway to talk all about the latest single, Heresy, all things Harroway, and they're currently on tour as well around Australia. So Matt, cheers for joining me, mate.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolute bloody pleasure, man. I've been following your music for quite a while now, kind of since you started, I think, fucking off of that. What's the first album? Bloom in a Dark Room back 2021. I heard that and was just blown away. But for the uninitiated, can you just tell us about who Harroway are and how you would explain your sound?
Yeah, I guess we're just like the heavier side of metalcore, I guess. Yep. We've definitely changed our sound a lot since Bloom in a Dark Room, I reckon, because that album was originally recorded in like 2015 or something over in the States. So we fucking, and like, for those who know, I've spoken about this so many times on like a bunch of other podcasts. So if you know who we are, then you probably heard it. But yeah, me and Jordan, the bassist, we've been in bands since we were fucking 15 or whatever. So we were in a band called Maybe I'll Live Forever. Local, reasonable size, small local band, done a couple tours and shit like that. And then we were like, let's do this proper. Like, all of our favorite big bands had gone over to the States and recorded and everything like that. And we were like, yeah, let's go. Like, let's do it. Let's make that step. Went over to the machine shop / Graphic Nature Audio with Will Putney and shit. And we just basically, to make a long story short, we weren't ready to go over at all. The whole band basically fell apart the moment that we fucking got back to Australia. And then we were like, well, fuck, we spent all this money on this fucking thing. And then like, there was a big time gap between recording it and then starting Harroway because some of the old members wanted to wait, and like our drummer from Maybe I'll Live Forever was the clean singer, and they didn't want to move forward without him being in the band because his voice was so identical. But we were like, he basically ghosted us, so we were like, oh, let's just fucking, like, I just kind of put my foot down and was like, we've got to do it. It's been like 2 years or something since we recorded this album.
Yeah.
Either we're wasting like $40,000, or we're just going to use it, rebrand, like start a new band and just like separate ourselves from Maybe I'll Live Forever and go into it. So we did that, like filmed a bunch of music videos with Third Eye Visual, band from Third Eye Visual, who does a lot of Parkway stuff and everything like that. Tried to do the whole, like, real proper, wanted to be a professional kind of band thing. And then COVID hit. So I think we played one show before we actually basically got
everything shut down. The whole world went to fucking shit, especially here in Australia. It was, and even now kind of coming back out of it's a bit fucking weird, eh?
Yeah, well, it actually worked out well for us because most of the people who were in Harroway in that early stage quit.
Yeah.
So then it was back to me and Jordan again. And then we kind of like rebuilt everything, started writing Sleep, which was our first kind of breakout, that kind of like started steamrolling everything. We recorded Sleep in that like little gap between where we were out of lockdown, then got put back into lockdown kind of thing.
Yep.
And then yeah, we just fucking, as soon as we were like, we've wasted a lot of time, we've got a lot of work to do. So we just head down and just started I started booking shows, putting on shows, doing whatever I had to do, promote our music everywhere, post on every fucking Facebook group, every fucking make fucking TikTok videos, whatever. Like I didn't give a fuck. I was like, had one fucking, yeah, exactly, a little fucking TikTok dance over fucking a bit of metalcore,
though,
you know?
don't you, man? It's like you gotta kind of use all of these platforms. It's like a necessary evil these days with your band just to get the notice, because like you work your ass off, you bring out this great music, and then you go, here you go, everybody, take my music for free. And you need to be able to put on these shows and get the support behind you, sell the merch to be able to spend, as you said, like 40,000 a fucking studio to make an album.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever fucking make an album again. Unless I've got like a fucking massive label backing. It just doesn't seem like it's like feasible anymore. It's so expensive.
Well, it's
Like
coming into a
everything
different time, isn't it? A lot of bands these days are like doing what you're doing, releasing a single, getting ears around it, dropping an EP, you know, doing it that way. And it tends to be working for a lot of bands. Look, I love albums, and it just sucks that we're in this time that people aren't listening to whole albums or actually going out and buying albums anymore. But, you know, it's the only feasible way kind of going forward.
Yeah, it really is. It's just so, especially if you like, I don't even think label bands can really, I don't even think the labels are really fronting much money anymore, especially for the smaller bands who haven't really proven themselves as far as like guarantees go. So you've got to build that fan base from singles and EPs before you even consider doing an album. So like we're in the process of recording our second EP now.
Yep.
Untitled. I couldn't tell you anything else about it. It's fucking real fucking still in a very much a work in progress.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like we were talking about, oh yeah, so like, because you got to stay, you know,
Relevant.
a year ahead of yourself, essentially. Like we're recording an EP now, and we're gonna probably release it next year because, you know, you've got to do all the planning of getting music videos filmed, sorting out the PR. Do you have a tour to fucking support the EP? Do you have it like all that kind of stuff? You know, map out it, like start studying what all the other bands are doing and how they're reaching new audiences outside of just, you know, chucking a couple $100 on a Facebook or Instagram ad and shit like that, you know, because, you know, they're great and they do help reach people, but fuck, I skip so many fucking bands ads that get thrown at me because it's just like, there's so much shit out there. And it's like, I don't fucking, that's not how I'm going to get reached. I might get reached on Spotify. Like if a random band gets chucked into a playlist that I'm listening to or something like that. But even then, so with our last release, you know, we had such a great success with the last EP and our lead single Parasite.
Yeah.
And as well as working with Ophelia from Big Mouth PR to kind of like figure it all out. I do a lot of like stuff on my end, which she always tells me she's very grateful for, because it's like a lot of bands don't realize that PR is not going to make a single itself.
Yep.
Like you've got to still put in work.
Exactly. But it does help having that
you.
PR, as you're saying, Matt, like working with Ophelia, but the band's also working as well, because that PR, I've come across so many bands through Ophelia, kind of with what she's doing now with Big Mouth and what she was doing before with Collision Course and all of that over the years. And she steered me onto so many good bands that I've in turn played on the radio, because I do internet radio, and then talked about in the podcast, had interviews with like this and chucked it on YouTube. And I know it's not huge numbers, but it is getting other people's ears around it. And because I'm doing stuff overseas as well, I managed to get a little bit of the American audience kind of listening as well. So it is important to kind of have that PR behind you, but also to work with them to kind of stand out above the other bands as well, because it is hard, like you're saying.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, we had such a big success with Parasite. And I was like, all right, let's follow that for like what we did with that, but let's times it by 3, because we were like, all right, Heresy to us feels like a much better, more complete song. And it's got the same kind of heavy element that our current fan base seems to like really like about our sound. So we were like, fuck it, let's do it. Let's push. So I built this huge marketing plan, and it just sunk. It just did not hit the way that Parasite hit. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, that fucking sucks. And then apparently at Spotify, they had fired all the curators and replaced them with an AI system.
Oh.
And it's still in the learning phase, and like
Isn't
it
that
may work out. It's probably going to work out better for us later on.
Yep.
Because it doesn't have that human bias of, you know, a label has a connection with a curator and they can go put us on this, like put our bands on this playlist, and then like all the other bands get forgotten about. It works off the sounds of the songs.
Yep.
But right now it fucking sucks. We also picked a really bad week to release, because I think we released the same day as Architects. Make Them Suffer released the day before us. Wage War, and there was a bunch of other bands that all dropped the exact same week, and we were like, fuck me. Like, you try so hard to avoid these things, and then you're like, at the end of the day, you're always going to clash with somebody. You can't help it. It's just, there's too many bands. Someone's always going to be clashing with something you're doing. So
exactly. And that's another tough thing at the moment too, with everybody kind of coming over to Australia, all these bloody big fucking bands, like every second band hitting Australia at the moment. But we've still got these great shows, local shows, like for example, the one that you guys are on tour at the moment with, supporting Sienna Skies. We've got No Home from the US, but yourself as well. And, you know, it's important for people to kind of still support these local shows, and it's great to see a few of them sold out, especially the one at the Cranker there that just recently played on the weekend.
yeah, I fucking love the Cranker, man.
Did you see the news? It was on the news as well.
Yeah, we were there. When we were loading in, all the news crews and shit were inside filming, and I was like talking to Wadey from Sienna, and I was like, "What the fuck did you organize? Like, are we getting a live stream on Channel 9 or some shit?" No, he was like, "Oh, it's for because they're trying to close it down and make it into a yoga studio or some shit." You know, that's exactly what Adelaide needs, another fucking Pilates studio.
Yeah, it was student accommodation. That's what they're thinking of putting, like you're saying there, do the studio down the bottom and then student accommodation on top. But like, there's so many venues. You probably see it in Sydney as well. There's so many good local venues around Australia and the world. I've talked to a lot of American bands about this, and bands all over the place, like that are closing down, especially coming out of COVID, because, you know, not supporting the scene as well. And once they kind of close off, it's hard to kind of get another venue to step in and take the place and fill the hole, especially for the metal scene as well. I don't know why that is happening, I think.
Yeah, I think it was just, COVID just really hit people hard, like the venues, especially because they couldn't, you know, their main revenue is people going, like events being on and people buying drinks and stuff. I know like people have different, like, you know, mixed opinions about Live Nation, but I know they went out and actually bought a lot of the smaller venues that were trying to close down over in the States. And from what I'd heard from other podcasts and stuff like that, that they're in the process of trying to win the artist back and get them on their side. So they're doing like things where they'll give their artists like fuel cards, like $1,000 fuel cards and shit like that, on like not included in their pay thing, just to like try and entice them. So it's always good hearing that kind of stuff. But then you hear all the stuff about like, you know, them fucking rigging ticket sales and shit like that.
Yeah.
And like forcing venues to use them, and they're getting backhanders and actually like shorting the artists out of money and the promoters out of money and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's a fucking dog eat dog world in the
Yeah.
music industry.
Yeah, no, it definitely is a tough world at the moment. Can we jump back into the music? Matt, tell us a little bit about some of the bands that have kind of influenced and inspired you as a musician, mate.
Well, I had a very metal upbringing. So when I first started listening to music, it was like Trivium Ascendancy and Emma to Inferno and shit.
Another
Yep.
big Trivium tattoo on the inside of my arm there too, dude.
I'd been thinking of like I when I was like younger, 14, and that when we first started, like I first got introduced into Trivium, I was like, yeah, I'm getting that sword. I'm getting the sword and the fucking circle. It's going to be sick. I haven't done it yet. I'll get it somewhere. Hopefully we get to play with Trivium one day and I can show Matt Heafy.
Yeah, well, that'd be great. They're gearing up to do that Ascendancy tour
10
worldwide,
years,
aren't they? Yeah, I know,
the
man.
Bullet for My Valentine Ascendancy tour.
I know, that's going to be fucking unreal. I remember seeing Trivium many year ago at the big day out. Kind of think it was like when they first come over here and they were on one of the little side stages and it was bitumen fucking ground here in Adelaide.
Yeah.
That was just absolutely brutal, man. The crowd just went nuts. So
The first time I ever got to see him was at Soundwave at Eastern Creek. And I think it was like them, Lamb of God.
I was at that one in Adelaide, dude.
Yeah, I was in the middle of the pit, just fucking bawling my eyes out, singing every word.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the best moment ever. I think I was like 16 at the time. It's like one of my favorite memories.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Tell us about the latest single, man. What's that track mean to you, dude?
Yeah, this one was like I've been very open about my mental health and like all interviews and shit in the past. Like I fluctuate very much between yeah,
Totally understand. I'm
me
the same,
and everyone
man.
else in the fucking
Yeah, I've
music industry.
never hid my PTSD or my depression, dude. And like last year I had a huge battle with cancer as well. So I understand, you know, that kind of stuff as well. You know, it's a tough fucking world out there, dog eat dog, as you're saying.
Yeah, it's fucked. Like, I hope you're all right, man.
Yeah, no, I'm in remission at the moment, dude. So yeah, man.
Fuck yeah. That's what we like to hear. Yeah, it's fucking like I have BPSD and, you know, post-traumatic stress and all that kind of shit from stuff that happened when I was younger.
Yep.
And you know, it's just like for a big part of my life, I fucking just hated myself. Like, just hated who I was, hated everything.
Did were you sitting in the room with me this morning? I just had this conversation this morning with somebody.
Yeah, it's funny. That's the thing, is that kind of that's that shit that relates. Everyone goes, like, there's a lot more people suffering going through it than I think we kind of realize. Because, like, I mean, us in the alternative community really wear it on like on our skin. Like, you know, we're always, you know, dressing black, like very dark clothes, tattoos, all that kind of stuff. But like, yeah, there's a lot more. I think it hits a lot more people than we actually realized. And yeah, this song is basically just about that, a low point after I thought everything was like I'd fixed everything, gone to therapy, you know, got my life together, found, you know, started going like dating my fiance now, and like started like thought I had started building my life back up, and then just I obviously wasn't paying attention to something in the back of like the back of my head that was just like whatever, and it was just all came back and started trying to pull my life apart essentially. And then like I do like mention, so I have this blood disorder called hemochromatosis where my iron levels get the iron in my blood gets too high, and if it's untreated, I basically can die from it. I can go into kidney failure, liver failure, because it just the iron can't escape other than to just deposit it into my organs. So, and then if my body ever goes, we're going to deposit it on the brain, I'm basically done. So it's treatable. Like I just have to monitor it and everything like that. But you know, it's just another fucking great thing to chuck on to a fucking shit fire.
Right.
But yeah, it's like just that whole feeling of you know, you're never happy, never enough, never fucking, it just never ends. And then like, you know, feeling overwhelmed and being like, what's the fucking point? Like, why do we keep going? Why do we keep pushing? And I do strongly believe that, like, you know, it gets better. And like it may not even be that your
You just get better at
gets
dealing
better,
with it.
but you'll get stronger.
Yep.
And like be able to push through and shit like that. But Heresy is very much a glimpse into, you know, the struggle that I go through mentally very frequently.
Yeah, and I think it's great that you did bring up these points in the track, and it's great that like artists like yourself are having these conversations and bringing these out in these tracks, because like you said, the metal community, like from the outside looking in, we look all aggressive and rough. I met some long lost family, and he's like, man, you're not what I expected when I met him. But we're such a loving, open community, and to be able to have these conversations about mental health, and I've been having conversations about cancer and all sorts of things related to that. I think it's very important for artists like yourself to be able to bring awareness to this. And as we say a lot, it's okay to not be okay, and to kind of have those down days and those down weeks, and to be able to ride those waves and kind of shut yourself off from the world for your own mental health. It is becoming a lot better in society and accepted. Thank fuck, eh?
Yeah, 100%, man. And it's like, you know, sometimes people seem to think that it's like a little cliche when you just like, because it is, we say it a lot in the scene, like a lot of the bands repping that kind of message to, you know, always like, you know, watch out for your friends, like look out for your friends and that. And you can never say it enough, but like, you know, sometimes it does get oversaid, but like, oh, it feels like it's being oversaid, but it's just because everyone fucking means it, you know?
Yeah.
We've all fucking, I think the statistics are like 1 in 2 people have like either know or have been personally affected by someone committing suicide.
Yep.
So it's like, it's real. And like my day job is in construction, and I think we had like almost 10,000 people kill themselves last year in the industry. It's like,
Yeah.
the shit is like, it's real, and it affects a lot of people. So
It does, and hence we have a lot of alcohol and use as well, and substance abuse,
Yep.
which comes back to another track you've got in your collection as well. The kind of people lean into a lot more as well, instead of talking about the issues and the problems they've got.
Yeah, well, that's it. You know, you try and find relief in vices and things like that, and that's basically what Impulse, the song off our
I know.
I Don't Want to Be Here Anymore EP was written about. So
Yeah, and that track Once More, when it kind of comes in, and it's like, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here. And for me, it was kind of like, once more, I'm in that fucking hole again, and I don't want to fucking be here. It's not necessarily I don't want to be here on this earth. It's like, I don't want to be in this hole again. That's kind of what it felt like for me.
Which is the exactly what I wrote it as. Like it was never intended as like a suicidal like song. It's I don't want to be this person who's fucking destroying themselves and like heading towards that fucking darkness, you know?
Yeah.
It was always about like getting better and trying to thingy, and you know, like it's a long battle. It's going to be a battle for the rest of my life. It's going to be I'm sure you feel the same way. Probably you're going to keep fighting demons that are there because they're there.
Yeah.
they're not going away. Unfortunately, that's just a sad part of life. You just need to build the tools and shit to actually deal with them, and when they come,
Oh, that's
work
it.
through it.
Yeah, oh, your own mortality too, Matt, because that's a big thing that I've noticed. Like, oh, it's like I give up the alcohol, and definitely do feel a lot better mentally, but some days are better than others, and especially going through cancer treatment. I had stage 4 cancer. I had part of my bowels removed, part of my liver. I've got nearly ostomy in at the moment, so I've got a bag on, and you know
Yeah.
what I mean. And I'm still in remission. So every day for me, I've just got to kind of not get sucked into that hole as well, and kind of keep pushing on the best that I bloody can as well, and fight those demons, cancer, and also the mental side of it as well, and try and be as positive as I can.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's, if you can find some stuff, like, start your day with, it sounds stupid, not
Coffee and
stupid, but
heavy
like,
metal.
cliche, but finding something to be grateful for.
Yep.
That either that you're still here, that you like, people love you, like simple things like that. You got a dog that your dog fucking loves you,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
whatever.
That's
Like,
it. Your cat's
just
happy to see
find
you in the
something to
morning,
be
dude.
grateful for.
Exactly. You're going to see bloody Sienna Skies and Harroway on the weekend, man.
Yeah, or you'd be fucked if you. Oh no. Oh,
There we go. I'm just
yep,
sharing
there
the
it is.
picture for everybody. Yes, you would be. You were at Adelaide and Melbourne on the weekend. You're off to Brisbane on Friday, this Friday at the Tomcat with Revoid and Dead Nerve. And if you wanted to see him at Sydney and you haven't got a ticket, too fucking bad, because that one's already sold out. And then you're
Yeah,
down
I'm
to
pretty sure we oversold that. It's going to be fucked.
oh well, oh, that's pretty good though, man. Like, that's not a bad position to kind of
It's
be in.
definitely not a bad thing, but it's just, yeah, it's going to be like Adelaide and Melbourne were fucking insane.
Yep.
Like,
Oh, that's good.
that Melbourne show goes down as like one of my, like, I put it up there with the show we played with We Came as Romans and all that kind of stuff. Like, obviously, We Car was fucking massive, like 1,500 people, but just the energy from start to finish, like, you can tell that the groundwork that we put in Melbourne, like, from like just the touring over the last couple of years, like the support we did with Patient 67, our like headliner when we sold it out, like
They're cool band too,
we
aren't they?
really won over some fans, and they just turned up and fucking from the first song to the last song just started fucking moving. It was like, honestly, the fucking, it like makes me fucking like, gives me goosebumps now talking about it, but it was just like, the fact that our music can have that effect on people, and like, you know, we can bring that little bit of joy, because I know what it's like to need to let out that anger and like that aggression and that feeling that your life's fucking shit. And, the only thing you go to that fucking show and you get in that pit and you just fucking unleash, you scream those fucking words. Like, I remember being that kid or like that person, and just to see from the very first song, the crowd start moving, that pit just start, like the boys and girls in that pit just start moving, and well, it really fucking warms my heart, man.
Oh, I bet you it does, and I could see that, because that's going to be a really cathartic, fulfilling experience, because there's none of us are going to get rich off of this at the moment. The way the scene is, there's like 0.1% that are going to make it. So having those moments, those connections, those special memories where the music has hit the crowd and the people there, and you can feel that as an artist, kind of got to make it all worthwhile. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like, I don't even like looking at our fucking Excel spreadsheet of like how much we put into this band and like how much we make back. Because it's really not much. And yeah, it's really just those moments. Like, there's nothing else I'd rather do. Like, because Australia's touring circuit is so small, you can only hit so many
Yep.
cities, and then like, you don't want to over tour and like exhaust, the people who want to come see you. And big tour supports and those kind of opportunities are very few in between. And like, obviously, like, if you're not signed to a label or you're not with a booking agency, like for like the independent bands like us, who are like completely self-managed, self-booked, like just 100% independent. We kind of get the scraps of what's left, despite, you know, being able to sell out an entire East Coast Australian headlining tour and like prove that we can pull tickets. We're still, pushing to get those tour supports. And like, I'm so thankful to Sienna for like reaching out to us and actually giving us this opportunity to play to some new people and like they're like open Harroway up to their fan base because, I think they saw how hard we were working and like that kind of stuff. And they have been in the industry for a very long time and they understand how it is. And that like, if we were given the opportunity, we would work our asses off to make the shows as successful as possible. And I feel like the ticket sales kind of show that. And the turnout of our fans at these shows, like really like do reflect the work that we put in.
Oh, fuck yeah. And you've got an amazing sound, dude. The sound is just fucking absolutely unreal stomping, dude. I'm looking forward to kind of what's going to keep coming out from you guys as well, considering you got that EP coming out. And I dare say you'd probably start fucking working on the next one. As soon as that one's done, you kind of got to, don't you, to kind of plan.
You got to stay ahead, man.
That's it. And merch, man, where's the best place people can actually get along and support you? Because I know everyone's streaming stuff as well, but people like me actually like to go and buy albums still,
Yeah, so we're still working on vinyls and shit like that.
Okay.
I really want to do them, but it's just a matter of figuring out what's the best route of like, do we just front, a couple grand to print some like vinyls ourselves and then take all the profits, or do we go the route of, having a vinyl company front the upfront costs of printing and then they get a percentage of the sale? It's just one of those things where it's like, we're
But it's
still
hard. It's hard
like
being independent,
learning.
isn't it? Because you're working bloody. Like, that's the thing. Even you're working 9 to 5 jobs. People don't realize. They think, oh yeah, you're playing a band. You're fucking. You got. It's like, mate, I'm struggling to buy a schnitzel at the fucking show, dude.
Mate, I've got about fucking $4 in my account till payday.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
know,
fucking exactly. It's fucking hard and it's like it is costly and we just got overseas tour offer that like we're super keen to take, but we've got to figure out if we can actually afford to get over there and everything, because obviously, being a band our size, we're not going to get a massive guarantee or anything like that to go over there. Our flights aren't going to be covered, accommodation and all that kind of stuff. It's more of just going over there to play the shows and
kind of get your name out a little bit.
Merch.
Yeah, get your name out a little bit. We know get some money back on merch would be,
but it's never going to cost fucking 10 grand's worth of flights and shit like that.
I know.
But it is one of those things because I like what I've learned from a lot of the older bands is that, if you ever want a chance to tour in the States, you have to prove, like, for a part of their visa requirements is that you have prior to international touring experience outside of America. So you can tour Australia as much as you want, but if you haven't started to break into the overseas market, you're never going to get that visa approval, especially, well, maybe you'll get it if you're with a label, but for us right now as independents, we're fucking like, we need to start thinking, okay, is this an investment into our future so that we can get over to the States and start touring? Because obviously, like, our biggest fan base is over there. We're like our biggest monthly listeners are coming from the States. Like our biggest cities are Australia, but there's more people in the States listening to our music. So it's like, we obviously want to get over there at some point and, having more tours than less is better.
Yeah.
Plus, the band that offered us the tour is gonna does big numbers in Japan. Oh,
nice.
fuck! I wasn't meant to say that.
Yeah.
Does big numbers overseas.
Overseas.
So, yeah, but that's still in the works. We're still tossing that up, seeing if we can make it work. Hopefully we do. If not, it is what it is. I'm sure we'll either head over on a headliner on this next EP release, or we'll tee up another support tour or something.
Damn straight. Till then, everybody grab some bloody Harroway, chuck it in the stereo, crank it up really loud. The neighbors are going to want to hear it. Matt, thank you so much for your time, mate. Do you have any last words, shout outs, thank yous, or anything else you'd like to add in there, my friend?
Just thank you to anyone who's listened to Harroway and Heresy, our latest single so far. Really fucking appreciate the support. It does mean a lot to us. I don't get to say it a lot because I'm a very aggressive frontman on stage, and I don't get to say thank you to you guys. But I take every opportunity on any of these to let you know that we, like, from the bottom of our hearts, we really fucking appreciate every single person who listens to us, has bought merch, comes to a show, supports us, shares a fucking reel that we have, or anything. Like, any support you give Harroway, it fucking means the world to us, and we love you. So
awesome. Cheers, mate.
Fuck yeah.
Oi, you're tuned in to Jai That Aussie Metal Guy, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his sick content. And remember, stay brutal, you legend.